Welcome to the ultimate technical masterclass. For the next 10 minutes, we are diving deeper than ever before. We aren't just talking about cars, we're talking about the most sophisticated thermal and electrical engineering on the planet. From the split turbo miracle to the 2019 Ferrari fuel flow controversy, this is the complete history of the hybrid engine wars. Let's get technical. 2014 was a seismic shift. The screaming 18,000 RPM V8s were gone, replaced by 1.6-litre V-Fondix hybrids. It wasn't just a change in engine, it was a change in philosophy. The goal was thermal efficiency, extracting more power from less fuel. While rivals were still mourning the V8s, Mercedes had been secretly testing their hybrid concept since 2011. They weren't just ready, they were a decade ahead. The first pillar of Mercedes' dominance was the split turbo. Most manufacturers integrated the compressor and turbine at the back. Mercedes split them, compressor at the front, turbine at the back, connected by a long shaft through the engine's V. This was a packaging masterstroke. It kept the hot turbine away from the cold air intake, allowing for smaller intercoolers and much tighter, more aerodynamic rear-end bodywork. Mercedes had won the aero war through engine design. Then came the MGU-H, the motor generator unit heat. It's the most complex part of the power unit. It harvests energy from the turbocharger's exhaust heat, but it also acts as a motor to spin the turbo instantly, eliminating lag. Mercedes' MGU-H was so efficient they could harvest energy almost continuously. On tracks like Spa, while Ferrari had to clip their deployment at the end of the straight, Mercedes was still surging forward on pure electrical power. Energy is useless without control. Mercedes' software was the second pillar. They developed predictive energy management that used GPS data to know exactly where the car was on the track. The software would decide, down to the millisecond, when to harvest energy and when to deploy it to maximize lap time. It was a digital brain that ensured every single joule was used with 100% efficiency. Ferrari had the power, but Mercedes had the intelligence. Thermal efficiency is the holy grail. It's the measure of how much energy from a drop of fuel is converted into movement rather than heat. In 2014, a road car was about 30% efficient. By 2017, Mercedes announced they had broken the 50% barrier. This was an engineering feat on par with the moon landing. They were extracting more power from 100 kilograms of fuel than any engine in history. This efficiency allowed them to carry less fuel, making the car lighter and faster in every corner. The silent war happened in the lab. The partnership between Mercedes and Petronas was critical. They developed custom fuel chemistry and lubricants designed specifically for the engine's internal coatings. These bespoke fuels allowed for higher compression ratios without the risk of engine knock. There were rumours of oil burning, using lubricants as a secondary fuel source to boost power during qualifying. The FIA eventually had to step in with technical directives to limit oil consumption and stop this magic power boost. Every Saturday we heard about party mode. This was a high-performance engine map that Mercedes used for one-lap glory. It pushed the turbo and the MGU-H to their absolute thermal limits. Ferrari tried to replicate this with their own aggressive maps, but they often hit reliability walls. Mercedes' engine was so robustly engineered they could run these extreme modes without fear of a blowout. It gave them a starting grid advantage that defined the era. Qualifying was the foundation of their dominance. Then came 2019. Ferrari suddenly developed a straight-line speed advantage that baffled the paddock. They were gaining up to 50 horsepower on the straights alone. Mercedes and Red Bull were convinced something was illegal. After a series of technical directives regarding fuel flow meters, the FIA reached a private settlement with Ferrari. Their performance dropped instantly. The technical theory? Ferrari found a way to bypass the fuel flow meter, giving them extra fuel and extra power, exactly when the meter wasn't looking. In F1, reliability is a performance multiplier. A faster car that breaks down is useless. Mercedes' strength was their bulletproof engineering. They could run their engines harder for longer. Ferrari, in their desperate hunt to catch up, often sacrificed reliability for peak power. This led to heartbreaking retirements while leading races, further cementing Mercedes' psychological advantage. When a Mercedes broke down, it was news. When a Ferrari broke down, it was expected. That was the engineering gap. We must talk about packaging. In modern F1, the engine is part of the aero. Mercedes' engine was designed to be as slim as possible at the top. This allowed for more airflow over the rear diffuser, creating more downforce. Ferrari's engine was initially wider, which hurt their cornering speeds. It took Ferrari 3 years to redesign their internal cooling to match the slim Mercedes profile. Mercedes didn't just have a better engine, they had a better car because of how that engine was integrated. Engine performance isn't just about dyno numbers, it's about drivability. Lewis Hamilton often praised the Mercedes engine for how smooth the power delivery was. If an engine is peaky or unpredictable when you hit the throttle, it upsets the car's balance and destroys the tyres. Mercedes worked tirelessly on engine maps that gave their drivers confidence in the corners. Ferrari's power often came in a thump, which made their cars much harder to drive on the absolute limit. Precision beats power every time. Today we are in an engine freeze. Performance development is banned until 2026. This, combined with the budget cap, has allowed Ferrari and Renault to finally close the gap. Mercedes has reached a plateau of what is possible with the current rules, allowing the field to converge. The racing is closer now because the engineering has finally reached its peak, but the factories haven't stopped. The real work has moved to the next generation of power. 2026 is the next great frontier. The MGU-H, Mercedes' greatest weapon, will be removed. The electrical power will triple. Engines will run on 100% sustainable fuels. It's a clean slate. Mercedes is losing its hybrid advantage, and Ferrari has a chance to rewrite the history books. Audi is joining. Red Bull is building their own engine. The engineering war is about to get much, much louder. The hybrid king is dead. Long live the new king. You've made it through the 10-minute masterclass. You now understand the truth. Mercedes didn't have a magic button. They had a decade of superior integration, software, and thermal management. They built a better machine, piece by piece. Subscribe for more Racecraft Explained deep dives. Tell me in the comments who wins the 2026 engine war. My name is your narrator, and I'll see you in the next one.